2022 was a pretty decent year for gaming, but I know that 2023 has a nice lineup of games that I'm looking forward to digging into. And even though this video probably should have been out like a month ago, these are my most anticipated games of 2023. Number 1. Resident Evil 4 Remake. Capcom, as long as I can remember, has always been eager to give a facelift to the Resident Evil universe, even going back to Resident Evil 1 coming out on the PlayStation, only to have a full-blown remake on the GameCube just 6 years later. So when it came time for Capcom to release the Resident Evil 2 remake, I was drawn in like a fly to a light bulb. I'm not usually the type of dude to play a game more than once, but it might be up there for my most replayed games of all time. I even went as far as purchasing it multiple times for different platforms. I just loved it that much and wanted to be able to play it wherever. So when I heard that Resident Evil 4 was being remade, I was incredibly excited. But I do also realize how upsetting it could be to some, especially the hardcore Resident Evil fans. One of the most beloved games of all time going through the delicate surgery of modernization is a tough idea to stomach. But since it's Capcom, I feel like we don't have too much to worry about. Aside from the 3 remake, I know the others are universally praised. I also think that every piece of footage, news, and even leaks have just looked amazing. I mean, like, I think yesterday I just saw new enemy types and I'm like, I didn't even think this game needed new enemies, but I'll play it. I'm stoked to see it. I cannot wait to play Resident Evil 4 in its new state and enjoy all the new quality of life changes that come with modern gaming. You know, the nicer controls, the better performance, and incredible visuals. I'm fully expecting this to be my game of the year. So, we'll see. Getting shredded by the Chainsaw Man in 2023 is about to be pretty as hell. Number 2. Like a Dragon Ishin. I first learned about the original version of this game back when I was playing Yakuza 6, and I almost went as far as importing it because I was convinced that we would never, ever get it released in the States. Yakuza, or Like a Dragon, as Sega is finally changing the branding globally, is my favorite RPG series. I know it's not exactly a traditional RPG, you know, it's more of an action-adventure with RPG elements, but the series opened my eyes to how great RPGs can be. I've always loved stories set in feudal and early modern Japan, you know, like the art, aesthetic, folklore, the story of a wandering swordsman, or the tale of samurai. It sucks me in every time. So getting to see RGG Studio take their brand of world building and characters to these iconic periods of Japanese history is like getting the finest steak on the menu. RGG Studio is no stranger to remakes, and if you haven't played the incredible Kiwami 1 and 2 overhauls, they are well worth your time. So I know that this will be the same labor of love that RGG Studio fans have come accustomed to. I will not be shocked at all if this title becomes my new favorite in the franchise, a crown that is still held by Yakuza 0. Number 3. Like a Dragon Gaiden. The man who erased his name. God, that's a mouthful. I would preface this with spoiler alert, but I feel like the news around this game kind of eliminates the need for that. At the end of Yakuza 6, Kiryu is faced with the decision of faking his death so that Haruka and the others in his life can finally live in peace. We're left with a final cutscene that sees him observing his loved ones only to disappear with no trace until he makes an appearance in Yakuza 7, otherwise known as Yakuza Like a Dragon. And within the same 48-hour period that Ishin and Gaiden were announced, we also saw the reveal of Like a Dragon 8, which also revealed that Kiryu is back in action with a brand new silver hairdo. So like I said, spoiler alert for this would be kinda pointless. With this game filling in some of the gaps between Like a Dragon 6 and 8, we'll get to see Kazuma Kiryu back in action in his own story at least one more time. I would have considered Kiryu's arc to be completed with Like a Dragon 6, but I won't complain about having him around again. We don't know too much about this game other than that it'll be Kiryu returning to the classic beat-em-up combat of previous games, but I'm sure we'll see more info once Sega and RGG Studio get through with the release of Like a Dragon Ishin. I would have been happy with just one Like a Dragon game this year, but we're getting 2? Damn, RGG Studio fans are about to be eaten real good. Number 4. Final Fantasy XVI. Man, I feel like I'm just about to be doing nothing but playing RPGs for the next year and a half, and that's okay, especially when they look as nuts as Final Fantasy XVI. I've been pretty drawn to this game with the reveal of each trailer. They're all edgy and over the top, and they got some extreme combat. It's crazy looking. I haven't played a Final Fantasy game in forever. I think the last one I might have sat down to play was Final Fantasy X. I've always liked the idea of Final Fantasy games, but was never able to commit the time to them. But thanks to my exposure to other RPGs over the years, it makes it a little less daunting to me. On top of that, Final Fantasy has gone through some interesting overhauls recently, with the different styled combat seen in Final Fantasy XV and the Final Fantasy VII Remake. They made it far more appealing to me over the typical turn-based combat. It's not that I dislike turn-based combat, I just tend to be a little more engaged with games featuring more active combat. I was really bummed that this was going to be a PS5 exclusive. Luckily, only a timed exclusive, but the game's promos made me go from, oh hey, I could probably live without a PS5 to, damn, I think I want a PS5. So thanks to my amazing community, I no longer need to feel bummed about that because they came together and made the possibility of me being able to play this game a real thing. I'll be talking about my early impressions with finally getting to own a PlayStation 5 pretty soon in a video, but when Final Fantasy XVI drops, be sure to expect videos and streams relating to it. Please do not be shocked if you can't reach me outside of streaming when this game drops. Number 5. The Last of Us Part 1, specifically on PC. While talking about how much Final Fantasy XVI made me want a PS5, it's the perfect time to talk about another game that made me want to buy a console, The Last of Us. When I played The Last of Us 10 years ago, it was an instant favorite game of all time. I've replayed it far more than I can remember, and even with all of that replay time, I still want to experience it again. With Sony bringing some of their exclusives to PC, I've been praying that we'd get to see The Last of Us get the same treatment, and here we are. I know The Last of Us Part 1 is mostly deemed a pointless remake, but getting one of my favorite games of all time with some new quality of life changes plus mouse and keyboard controls, yeah, that ain't pointless for me. Even with recently getting a PS5, I could get the updated game on console right now, but I think I still want to wait for the PC port. Aside from the new excitement of playing it on PC, I'm excited for the game to catch a new audience, which, with this coming out and the show coming out, I'm expecting to see a lot more fans of The Last of Us. If you slept on The Last of Us the first time around, please do not ignore it this time. Number 6. Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. I've never been super into Zelda games, but Breath of the Wild was one of the best games to play on the Switch. Hell, it might still be the best game on the Switch. I had always joked that Breath of the Wild was like a Fisher-Price Dark Souls, and now I find myself joking that Tears of the Kingdom will be the Fisher-Price Elden Ring. But jokes aside, being able to compare these Zelda titles with some of my favorite games of all time is a huge compliment. It's a little backhanded, but still, they're gonna get my money. Tears of the Kingdom will be a day one purchase for me and will more than likely swallow all of my time. I'm also expecting Tears of the Kingdom to probably be the last big exclusive game for the Switch, so fingers crossed that it's the massive send-off that the Switch really deserves. Number 7. Armored Core 6. At the Game Awards, we were gifted a little treat, a FromSoft game announcement. But not just any game, the return of Armored Core. I never got to play any of the Armored Core games, but I love mechs, and I know what a big deal this franchise is. So mechs plus FromSoft equals immediate hype and interest for me. Like many other FromSoft games, I'm sure this will be a true test of patience. I'm ready to get frustrated, but this time at least it'll be cool ass mechs instead of poison swamps. Number 8. Honorable mentions. There's some stuff I'm looking forward to, but I didn't have too much to say about them, and also by the time the video drops, I'm sure some of these games will already be out. Like, when I originally wrote the script, I was excited about Persona 3 and 4 coming to the Switch, and I'm still stoked on that, and I'll get around to those whenever, but those already came out. I'm also interested in the Dead Space remake, but I'm a little apprehensive about dropping $70, so I'll probably wait for the reviews on that. There's also things like the free DLC coming to Sonic Frontiers, which looks really great. They just need to add New Game Plus to make that more solid. Most importantly, I can't wait to see whatever Epic has planned for Fortnite throughout the year. We just got a second DBZ collab, and maybe we'll get One Piece this year? Who knows, but I'm sure it's going to be sick. And last but not least, maybe this is the year we'll finally see that Advanced Wars remaster on the Switch. It's gotta be coming soon, like, please. Alright, so I got a couple updates since, I recorded this video like last week or the week before or whatever, I can't even remember. Anyway, a couple things. One, Advance Wars is actually coming out, they said in April. That just got announced in the Direct the other day. Two, I just got Dead Space and it's awesome as fuck. And three, I also just got gifted a copy of The Last of Us Part 1 for PS5. So I'm gonna end up playing that soon, but I'm still planning on getting the PC version. We've got a lot of great stuff coming out this year. Let me know what games you're looking forward to in the comments down below. Remember, if you're new, to like and subscribe. On top of my videos and shorts, I stream every Monday and Friday around 7 Eastern, so if you'd like to come and hang out, please come through. This video's shout out goes to TH Revolution. Thank you for being a channel member and also being a mod. I appreciate you. If you'd like to have a chance to get a shout out or even just support the channel, you can do so by becoming a channel member. As usual, thank you to my channel members. My content would not be possible without your support. And until next time, remember, no brain, just aim.